Hello and welcome to Chair Yoga. In Chair Yoga Plus, we do some things in the chair and we do some things standing. I invite you to choose whether you work out in the chair or if you practice standing. We'll begin with our breath, so let's sit tall, back away from the chair. Roll your shoulders down your back. Just give a little squeeze between your shoulder blades. Just notice, how does this feel? We'll bring the ears over the shoulders and lengthen through our spine. Take a nice deep breath and sigh it out. To deepen our breath, let's place our hands on our rib cage and just breathe into the hands a little deeper. Keeping the breath natural in our practice today. One more nourishing breath here. And as you exhale, bring the hands down at your side. Let's bring the shoulders up towards our ears, roll them back and down. And we'll roll them in the opposite direction so they come up and forward and down. And one more time, let's bring them up and roll them down our back. Hold the shoulders here, one hand down, one hand in the opposite direction, getting a nice stretch between the hands. And then exhale and bring the hands in front of your heart, palm to palm. Let's do it in the other direction. Opposite hand up now, and the other hand down. Nice deep breath, and then exhale, and the hands come back to the heart. So let's connect that breath to our movement today. Inhaling as we stretch out. Exhaling as we come back to center. You move with your breath. Just find that good place for your body here, connecting with your breath. One more time on each side. Stretch it out. Exhale. Inhale here. Exhale back to center. Let's bring the hands down at our side again and roll the shoulders back and down. Reach back for your chair. Holding on to your chair, lift the chest, tuck the chin, and maybe take your gaze up. Maybe up all the way to where the ceiling meets the wall. Feel the openness in the front of the body as you breathe here. And then exhale and slowly bring the head center, hands to your lap. Let's take the nose into a circle. Just a gentle movement in your neck here. So in today's practice, we're going to use very light weights. So we want to really make sure the body's ready for that extra resistance. Let's lift one foot and circle the toes. So as we warm up here, we move through all the joints, and the foot comes down and we lift. Bring that knee up as high as you can, and then lower it down. Lift and lower. And on your next lift, lift halfway. Take the foot to the side of the chair. Rest the hand or the forearm. And let's take side angle, reaching the opposite arm up, maybe straight up, maybe over the ear. And you can look down at your knee, or you can look straight ahead, or you can look up at that hand above you. Again, a little more involvement in the neck here as we open up the side body. And then exhale and release the top arm. Step that foot back and in. Other side, we point and flex a few times. And then take the toes into a nice circle. Other direction. And then we lift and lower. And each time you bring that knee up, bring it a little higher today. On the next one, bring it halfway, step it out to the side, and let's take side angle here. Lifting high and then leaning out over that leg, but controlling it so there's not a lot of weight in that side leg. It's all lift of the body. Using your core here, and again, you can look at your knee, you can look straight ahead, or you can look up. Deepening the stretch here as we hold, but keep the breath flowing. Inhale and exhale naturally. On your next exhale, let's lift up and release the top arm and step that foot back and in. Shift your weight from hip to hip here. And then find your center and hold. Take a nice breath. Roll the shoulders down your back as you exhale. Hands are going to come up into sort of like a goddess pose, right? And we're going to spread the fingers way apart. And let's claw them. Let's bend the fingers at the finger joints and then stretch it out again. Claw and stretch. And now this time, as you're stretching the fingers out, bring them closer together. Thumb in, and then spread them out. And let's come back to that claw. Spread the fingers, claw the fingers, spread and claw. And then just bring them back to neutral. Bring the shoulder blades closer together. Elbows up, bring the elbows forward and back. How far forward? Maybe they touch, maybe not. Just find your movement across the shoulders here, into the back and into the chest. One more. And then hold in goddess. Take your feet apart so that they're on the corners of your chair and lift your gaze, lift your heart. Goddess pose. Exhale, let's release. Step the feet back and in. Let's do a few cat-cows. So we want to round the spine, tuck the chin. Then we straighten the spine and drop those shoulders down towards your hips. Exhale. And inhale. One more. Or as many as you need today, rock side to side in your hips. And then pause for a moment here. Take a nice big inhale. Stretch equally up through the hands and then wiggle your fingers as you float them back and down. So as I said, we're going to use some light weights today. They're optional, but I want to show you how adding the weights as a prop can add a little resistance. So my weights are under my chair right now. I'm going to step to the side and pick up my weights. I have 3-pounders today. You can use 1 pound, it doesn't matter. You can use just your own body weight. So we're going to sit tall and we're going to lift one leg and lower it down. Now I'm holding the weight on the thigh so that the leg now has to work against that extra resistance. Let's see if we can take it out to the side. I'm going to come forward a little bit, out to the side. Oh yeah, I can do that. How about you? Let me know. Out to the side one more time and keep that weight there. Pick up the other weight and hold it near your shoulder as you turn towards that knee. Now here you can just rest it on your thigh and stay. Lengthen through your spine. If you want to work a little bit into that shoulder, you might drop that weight towards the floor. Now here again, there's resistance. So we want to use the shoulder and the core muscles to hold the weight there. Inhale and exhale. And now we'll draw that weight up towards the shoulder and release it back and down. We don't have to do many because we've added that extra resistance. Bring it up, rest it on your thigh, sit tall and step the other foot back and in. Lift the other leg now up and down. See how it feels. Maybe stay with this or maybe step it out and step it back in with that extra resistance. That's all we're doing, just adding resistance. Leaving the foot out to the side. Once again, we're going to turn, and then the other weight can rest on the opposite thigh, or it could come down towards the floor. If you're bringing it down in front of you, make sure you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. Looking at the knee, we'll draw this weight up towards the shoulder and back and down. And we'll draw it up, rest it on the opposite thigh, come all the way up and step that foot back and in. Sitting tall here, take one weight in your arm. This time your hand is in front of your shoulder. We're going to push it out and bring it in. Now taking the weight away from the body adds a great deal of resistance in the shoulder and the arm. So go where you can. If you can extend all the way out, if your weight's light enough to allow you to do that without straining, then you could work with that full length of the arm. And then down. Other arm, again, elbows up, but the weight's in front of your shoulder. And if you only can push it out a little and bring it back, you're still working, still strengthening through the shoulder here. One more time. Go where you can, comfortably, and then down. Bringing those weights to your side, roll your shoulders back and down, and then bring your shoulders up towards your ears and lower them down. Now we're not letting the weight lower the shoulder, we're actually controlling that, right? And how do we do that? With our shoulders, with our back, and even with our core here. All working together. And then rest and circle your wrist, strengthening through the wrist. And circle in the opposite direction. And then we'll rest those on our thighs one more time. Take a nice deep breath and sigh it out. Wonderful. Next, I'm going to stand. You're welcome to stay in the chair. We're going to do triangle pose. So if you stay in the chair, you extend one leg out. You can have your hand on your thigh or on the inside of the thigh. If you're standing with me, let's move our chairs so that they are going to allow us to use the chair for a little support. So my chair is off to the side. We're standing in mountain pose right now. Take a nice deep breath and give those shoulder blades a little squeeze. Notice the weights in your hands. Notice that extra resistance. I kind of think of it like a little more connection to earth because I really feel it, not just in my arms, but I feel it in my feet. How about you? And then we're going to separate the feet into a nice wide stance, and the foot nearest the chair is going to turn towards the chair. Now, if you're using the chair for stability, you put one weight in the seat of the chair, or you can hold it on your thigh here. The other weight is going to come either on your thigh or to your lower back. So then we're going to pull that shoulder back, and then we're going to start to lean out over that turned out leg here, pushing the hips in the opposite direction, and try to keep the shoulders on top of each other. So let's not let this top shoulder fold forward. And as I said, you can always do this without the weight. I'm going to add to this. Bring the weight to the inner thigh and lower down, lift it up. It's a very small movement at first. Find your movement, or no movement at all. Keeping the shoulders stacked, and we're just moving through that hip flexor. And then hold in triangle right here. Breathe. Lengthen through the crown of the head with a little tuck of the chin and a little push of that hip back away from the chair. And then bend into that front leg and come up. Now we're going to come into warrior two, so if the weights are too much, place the weights down. Knee over ankle. Back foot turns out, heel turns out a little bit, toes at about a 45. And then we start to lift the arms. How high is up to you. So if you rather just stay right here in our warrior, work on drawing the energy up through the core. If you're extending your arms, they go in opposite directions. Oh, a lot of resistance here for me today. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Look out over the front hand. Keep breathing. Pushing the weights in opposite directions helps. And then we lower them back down. Pivot to the front and step the feet back into our mountain. Take a nice deep breath and sigh it out. We're going to do the other side now. So moving my chair so that I could face you. Separate the feet nice and wide. Turn one foot, the foot closest to the chair, and put a bend in that knee. Hold here for a moment. And then as we straighten that leg, we push the hips in the opposite direction. Take the free arm on top onto your back with the weight. Draw the shoulder blades together. You can keep this weight, the front weight, right on the thigh. I'm going to bring it to the inner thigh. And again, you can take a little bit of movement here. So we go down and up, just an inch or so. Seeing how that feels. Maybe one more here. And then we come up, we put a bend into that front knee. Stack the shoulders over your hips. Keep the hands here or extend them out into warrior two. And now the arms have just done this before, so they're going to push back a little bit here. They're going to say, oh, I already did this. So we don't have to hold as long. Exhale and lower them down. Pivot the feet forward. Step into your mountain and roll those shoulders, releasing any tension. And then the other direction. And then I'm going to place my weights down off to the side and turn the chair so that we could do down dog. So we're going to come behind the chair now, step back quite a distance, keeping our fingertips on the chair, feet a little bit wider than your hips. We lower our chest into that space in front of us. Hips now go back and up, and we lower a little bit more. Continue your breath here, pushing the hips back, lengthening that spine, and then bend the knees, look up, and walk your dog. Lift one heel, lift the other. Step one foot in, and then the other foot goes back a little bit into a lunge type position here. I'm going to come forward, straighten that front leg, and lift the back leg and lower it down. Now, if you don't want to lift, it looks like this, just this rocking back and forth, shifting your weight. Now come forward, lift, flex the foot and hold. Maybe lift a little higher. Try not to tilt into that leg. So use this lifted leg to help you even it out a little bit. And maybe opposite hand can come forward for our dancer pose. Exhale and release and walk that out. Let's come into down dog again and walk our dog. Just kind of release all that. And then the other leg's going to come forward, a little bit of bend at first, and we rock back and forth, shifting our weight, lifting that back heel. And maybe float the leg up and lower it down. No weights here. We're using our own body weight as our resistance. Lift and hold. Push that leg back, maybe lift it a little higher. Lift the heart, lift the opposite hand. Hold. Exhale and release. Step it back. You guessed it. Walk your dog. And then slowly walk your feet in. Come back to our mountain pose here. Breathe in, breathe out. Take your hands to your hips, separate the feet, and let's just circle to release the hips, the lower back, and in the other direction. And once again, come to stillness. Take a nice breath. Exhale and release. Coming back into the chair. Sitting without plopping, stepping to one side. And we'll extend the other leg back. Once again, into a lunge pose in our chair. We're going to take a lunge twist right here. Bring the hands down. You can hold on to the chair at first. Lift through the heart. Turn to the back of the chair. Extend one arm out. See how it feels. No weights here. The other arm can come out. And the hands are going to reach in opposite directions as we lift and lengthen through the spine. On an exhale, hands come back. Head releases, shoulders and hands. Step the outside foot in and turn to the front. And let's just shift some weight here before we go to the other side. And then we'll turn, we'll step out on the other side of the chair. Outside leg goes back, heels up. Arms can come up and we hold in our lunge pose here. And we'll take it to a little bit of a twist here today. We bring the arms down, holding opposite sides of the chair. Lift through the heart. When you're ready, turn around your ribs here. Extend one arm, extend the other. Keep breathing. Pull the shoulders back, lift the heart. And then exhale, hands to the chair, head releases, shoulders outer foot comes in, and we pivot once again back to the front. Let's take the feet together, knees apart, and we squeeze and release, working the inner thighs. And then break both feet on the floor, step them apart once again, goddess pose. Nice big breath, exhale, bring the hands to your thighs, drop one shoulder into that space and lift, and then the other shoulder. So when you add weights to your practice, be mindful of what you're doing. We don't want to extend the weight and hurt the joint. So make sure you warm up as we did today. And also, not every pose has to use the weights, right? Come up nice and tall, hold your hands on your thighs, and now lean into that space, but pull the shoulders back a little. Gaze is about 8 feet out in front of you as we come into this forward fold. And then release, step the feet back in, lift the heels, lift the toes. So I hope you enjoyed this short practice using some weights in our yoga. And we can all use weights. We could use our own body weight. Come to sit, tall, shoulders down your back. Hands can rest at your thighs, or you could palm to palm in your lap here. And just notice how your body feels from toes to knees, from knees to hips. Sense the heaviness of your hips and legs in the chair. And then notice your shoulders still engaged a little down your back, arms resting, and maybe even glancing down or closing your eyes and notice your breath in and out with a nice even pace. Slow and mindful. And then just kind of feel the strength that you built in your body today. And bring the hands together, keeping the eyes glancing down or closed. Warm up the hands and then hover them over your eyes. Let that energy soak in and soften the eyes and soften the cheeks. And on your next exhale, open your eyes and bring your hands to your heart. Bow to your body for its fabulous work today. Thank you again for joining me for Chair Yoga Plus, and I hope that you enjoyed this short practice with weights. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe so that you get the next video.